Hey guys, I'm Kyle Castro, and we're about to talk about momentum. Mass multiplied by velocity equals momentum. Okay, so now we're going to talk about mass. A lot of people confuse that with weight. Mass is actually how much matter an object has, how many molecules or atoms make up the thing. Now velocity. Velocity is how fast something is moving and which direction it is moving in. Depending on how big or small the mass is, that's how much the velocity is going to change. The momentum of an object can be high or low depending on the mass, the velocity, or even both. Alright, so we've already learned that everything moving on Earth has a certain momentum. That's how it's moving. This disc, its momentum is moving in a clockwise rotation. When I throw it, my arm will be giving it a force that pushes the disc that way. But there's many factors in the Earth that can change the momentum of anything. Let's use the wind in this example. If I was to throw the disc in this direction, if there was headwind, it would come at the disc and it will push the disc and it will change the velocity and the disc will start going up. But if there was tailwind, it would change the velocity to push it to go down. Now either way, I'm going to put a certain amount of force and spin on it, and it's going to stay straight going for a certain amount of time. But soon the force is going to wear off and the momentum will start to slow down. And that's when the wind will kick into a bigger force and push the disc left, because that's the certain spin and rotation I put on it. So, let's check it out.
Death is not a wish, I'm not Bronson, but it haunts my conscience on a constant, soaking up my compliments. One hand in the wonderland, one hand in the contraband. Underwater takes the rabbit to its destination. One hand.
Now to change momentum or to slow something down, you would just accelerate in the opposite direction in which the current velocity is already traveling. So now Newton's second law, by definition of our handy-dandy vocabulary, is the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on the object, and in the same direction of the net force, and it is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. It tells us that something like a supertanker, which we learned in class, will have more mass, so it'll be harder to accelerate or decelerate, but once the more force is going, the more mass an object has, the more faster it's going to go. Alright, so now we're going to take two different objects with two different body masses, and we're going to see how hard it is and how long it takes for each one to stop at this line. So let's see how it goes.
So you did. This is a message for grown folks and kids who choose to take the rabbit in these lives that we live.
The old lady gets upset when I touch the bottom. I promise I would import secrets into my palate minus special occasions.
Oh, I just barely missed it! Oh, pretty close though. It took me about, let's say about 3 spaces to stop compared to me stopping at 1. I'll take it. Alright, so like I mentioned earlier, the momentum of an object can be high or low depending on the velocity, the mass, or even both. Right now we're going to take the swing for an example. Right now its momentum is at 0, its velocity at 0, it's doing nothing, it's just sitting here. But if I just give it a little bit of force, its velocity will now be going back and forth this way. But now we're going to incorporate something new into momentum, something called impulse. Impulse, which is force multiplied by time. Force means to push or pull. Like I mentioned earlier, if you change the velocity of an object, you're going to change its momentum. Now changing the momentum depends on 2 things. How much force you apply on the object, and how long you apply that force for. Impulse basically equals a change in the momentum. Like earlier I pushed this, I gave it a force to go, that was giving it a velocity and momentum this way. But now, impulse is increasing the momentum. It's about how long time my hand is giving the force to this object to make it go. So it's the impulse. These 2 things combined equal impulse. Force multiplied by time. Blah blah bling! I'm just trying to pass this class, so I took the mass and I timed it by the velocity just to see what it would give me, and it gave me momentum. Momentum. I'm gonna take this object like it's a prospect and throw it up in the air like I just don't care, and study the momentum on its way down, but right before it shatters into the ground, I'll be sure to take lots of notes. It looks like fun, you might want to try this, but don't, cause it's dangerous. KC's filled with craziness. That's why you see me skating on the streets from the cops. I got so much mass, my momentum just can't stop. I got more in me than a super tanker. I thought you knew that, you bloody wanker.
And zip it like a pouch and let it all hang out as if no one was watching. They botching up the job, God never that. Help me with the better act. Knack embedded, manipulated any state, whether sober or faded to where I can't see straight. I motivate, elevate, activate, tell it great, take it farther, growing larger on the daily off a chill pill. Although the thrill will call, face it, life in this matrix is raw. Pace it.